Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tech Informist. This is episode 71, recorded live on Monday, May the 18th, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell. I'm joined by Brad Whiteside once again. Brad, how are you doing today?
Pretty good on this fine Monday morning.
Yeah, nice weather here in St. Louis today, so it's going to be a little warm today, I think.
Yep, a little warm, and then we're going to go back a little cooler for the rest of the week.
Yes, just give me 70 to 75, maybe a high of 80 from time to time, just because, and I'd be perfectly content.
Oh, St. Louis doesn't do things like that. It's always the opposite or the extreme.
It's all or nothing here.
Don't like the weather? Stick around a day.
Yep, because it will change. All right, so the Tech Informist is a technology news show in which we like to talk about some of the news that flows across our RSS feeds and try to go a little bit more in depth and, not always just some of the common news, but some of the more obscure things that most people don't keep up with and may not follow on whether it's Twitter or Facebook or any other social platform. So we try to talk about a wide variety of things. And today I think we got a few interesting things to discuss. But first, if you are new to the show, you can listen live on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays simply by going to thetechinformist.com/live. Typically, we record at noon Eastern Standard Time. And would love to have you join in our live chat. I see a few people have joined us today. That's nice. Great. Thank you for joining. And it's Evan. Yo, managed to get on at work. Way to go, Evan. All right. So you can also find us on social media. Twitter is at Tech Informist, and also Facebook, Google+, just Instagram. Just simply type in The Tech Informist. Have any comments, suggestions, or feedback, please send them to contact@thetechinformist.com. So let's go ahead and move into the first tech news bit and also discussion. This is something that's kind of been batted around here a little bit lately about Microsoft and Windows 10. We know Windows Mobile, we're going to be getting this big update. Preview releases are available for testing. And with this latest build, a lot of people are having some issues, which, kind of leads me to believe that, well, they've got a long way to go. And there's a reason why the desktop and laptop experiences of Windows 10 is what's going to be releasing first. So my experience on my 1520 of the previous build was not the greatest. Using it on my 820 now, it's very sluggish, I will say that. And using the new store app, they're using the new beta store, which is, granted, it looks great. I love where they're going with this. But maybe it's my 820, maybe it's just the whole, 10 preview experience, but just real sluggish. And, like, for example, before this episode started, me and Brad were talking about, you get access to the new Office apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you can use these previews on your device. Downloading apps on this new store app wants to, it shows that it's downloading, and then it gets to a certain point, and it just looks like it's hung. But then, you check your app list. It's like, oh yeah, it was installed. And you go back to the store, it still says it's downloading. So yeah, there's some ways to go. So that's kind of been my experience with this so far. But I love the new store app. I still love the keyboard. I'm liking some of the visuals on, scrolling through your apps and stuff like that. It's just really is nice, and I see a lot of great potential here. So, Brad, I know your experience hasn't been that great. So, tell us a little bit about your experience.
So, like everyone else, I was really excited that there was a new preview out and went to download it right away. And guess what? It made my phone not a phone. It took away the phone app. It took away the texting app. like it's almost like it only installed half of the preview. And then when I went to my start screen, everything was gone and there was only 3 tiles on there. And those 3 tiles, when you try to click on them, it did nothing. I don't even know what they were for, to be honest. But at that point, I had decided that I've had enough of the technical preview stuff, and I went to revert back to 8.1, which, by the way, is actually not too hard. If you download, for instance, I have the Lumia 635 I was using it on, and I tried to use the Windows Phone recovery tool, but for some reason that doesn't work very well or at all. So I tried using the Lumia software recovery tool, and that seemed to work better, in fact, perfectly for some reason. Don't know why, don't know how to explain it, but it did, and it was a very pleasant experience once it did. So if you like want to refresh your phone and try again or what have you, this is definitely the way to do it. It did not take long once it got up and running.
Yeah, when I went back from the Windows 10 preview on my 1520, I mean, it was simple. You just download, quickly install it, plug your device in, it recognizes, you hit a couple buttons, and it just automatically downloads the latest full release. But then you can always, then obviously you got to go into the developer preview and to get updated on the actual most current release that's available.
Right.
So I mean that does work really well with that. So I'm just looking forward to more future builds of Windows Mobile 10 because I'm really excited about it. I think it is going to do really good.
Oh, I'm very excited about it. I'm still optimistic, even though I've had a bad experience. I mean, it's still in beta. It's still doing its thing. You know, they're still fine-tuning it. I mean, I don't think, obviously, we're not going to see it, you know, as of July, but I think it'll be ready somewhere in October, if I were to guess. And then we'll start seeing phones late October, early November.
Well, I'm hoping we see phones before then. I know there's a lot of people ready for that.
Hey, I like being wrong in this instance.
Oh, yeah, it's always good to be wrong once in a while when it benefits people.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll kind of move into it a little bit about, you know, how they're going to actually roll this out. Now, of course, Microsoft is saying that they are going to take over the updates for Windows 10 mobile devices. Now, basically, they're trying to say that they're going to be able to bypass carriers, sort of like Apple does. I mean, Apple's got it right. They, it's when their software is ready to go, their software is ready to go. So hopefully, Microsoft is going to be able to, hold true to their word and do this. Now, I mean, I know that, they'll still have the developer preview way to go, but I hope that's not what people have to do because, the average person is not going to know to do that and download and install that, even though it's pretty simple. But I hope they can do this and avoid having to go that route. What are your thoughts, Brad?
Well, on the carriers, right? Sorry, I was in the chat.
See, distracted.
Yeah, I know. So I feel like I can see them pulling this off. I mean, Apple does it. They do it all the time. I don't see any reason why anyone else can't.
Money.
Let's see. Money. Maybe it's a little bit of money. Maybe it's a little bit of owning the market, so to speak. But
right.
I don't see that being an issue. I still feel like they would be able to pull this off, regardless of whether the carriers want that or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see any reason why they couldn't, put updates over the air. And I mean, they do it now. It's just in a different form.
Mm-hmm.
But I could still see them implementing this in a customer-friendly way. So that's my thoughts. I'm you know me, I'm optimistic about everything. So I feel like they can really pull this off, and once they do, it'll be a much better experience.
I mean, we all know that, it's still fresh in people's minds, the whole Verizon icon debacle about updating the firmware from cyan to denim.
For like a year, a full year.
It's like Verizon kept rejecting whatever Microsoft was, sending to them in regards to denim on the icon. and so they just completely bypassed. Or no, it was upping to cyan. That's what it was. They couldn't get cyan, so they just jumped straight to denim.
Right, yeah.
And that was one of the first devices to get the denim firmware update.
Well, it gets like cyan through denim. Like it was just like a big compilation instead of like 111. So
Yeah. So that's what I'm just hoping that, Microsoft is going to be able to, as they show that, that this is not the Microsoft of 10 years ago, or really even
yeah,
5 years ago.
this is not your father's Microsoft. This is a new Microsoft that we're definitely all not used to.
Right. They're just trying to be more, consumer friendly, and hopefully they'll be able to get the carriers to see this. Hey, we have, our end users' best interest at heart here. We are concerned about safety. We're concerned about security. We're going to make sure that our stuff is locked down and will not have any issues. So please just, we're going to just do this and it's just going to work. So just have faith. I hope they can pull it off, and I hope they can get the carriers on board. And I also hope they can get the carriers on board with educating their sales representatives to say, hey, Windows Mobile is a legit option for, you as a customer when people come in to purchase a new device. But it's going to be up to Microsoft to have those devices for people to actually be interested in showing off the features of what will make these things special based on what we've seen from these presentations that Joe Belfiore is doing with Continuum and all these great bells and whistles. They are going to have to market the heck out of these things.
I mean, if you're a customer that needs a business aspect to your phone, usually you look to iPhone. But I mean, if that phone could potentially become, like a full-blown PC, I think that would interest a lot of people. I think a lot of people have kind of been asking for that, something like that, like for a while. Something that actually works and works well. And I think this might be the first option for that.
Yeah. We will definitely see. It's going to be the next 6 months, 7 months, until the end of, the year, especially with the holiday season and stuff like that. It's going to be very telling how that goes. And hopefully we're just bombarded with ads everywhere.
Well, I think it's safe to say that all of these devices and such will be out before Black Friday, because that's only makes sense.
Oh yeah, I completely agree on that. And what are your thoughts on them kind of going back to the Windows Mobile name? And
I am actually excited about that, because I don't feel like Windows Mobile is smeared in the way that Windows Phone is right now. Because let's face it, Windows Phone, you hear it, or people hear it, and they're like, "Oh, why would you ever do that?" Or, "Oh, you have a Windows Phone, poor you." It's nobody gets it, so it's only fitting to change that name now, because that name is now smeared in the way that maybe Windows Mobile might have been back in the day. But I think it's so far past that it's good to go back. It's something, still familiar to people.
okay,
And also explains what the product is, like straight up. It's Windows Mobile,
right, it's Windows on a mobile device, so Windows Mobile. Pretty simple, folks.
Yeah. It's only makes sense to me. So I don't know. I just feel like changing names on certain things, like for instance, the Edge browser. I think that was a smart move, because there's a lot of people that, associate IE as the worst browser. But I mean it. It doesn't have the fancy extensions, but I don't think it's that terrible.
Right. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to your thing, to your next story, which actually kind of
Ties into this a little.
ties into all of this stuff about
Yes.
a vague tweet. So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so there was a vague tweet from none other than the anti-Microsoft company Snapchat, saying that there is a future Snapchat app in the works and it is coming. But they didn't really say that in so many words. It was a very vague tweet that could be the app. But Windows Central, is quick to remind us, don't get your hopes up because things like this have happened before. For those of you who are Snapchat people, I am not one of them. It's more the idea of the story that excites me. It makes me wonder if the message at Build got across to developers and did so in a way that excited them. Because if you know anything about Snapchat and their relationship with Windows Phone, it's not very pleasant, so to speak. Anytime anyone tries to do any third-party anything on Windows Phone, it is quickly smashed and discarded. And this, gives people who want to use Snapchat on their Windows Phone a little hope, I guess.
Right.
Once again, I'm not really that kind of person. I guess I don't get it. I'm too old for that. But that sounds weird to say. But once again, I feel like they did get their message across that Build, and we're starting to see the fruits of their labor, so to speak. And we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more apps, appear more quickly. The other thing I could almost tie into this story, and I didn't really put in the show notes because I don't know how credible it is strangely after or during Build, or right up to Build, it seemed that people that were using the Google Analytics or the Google, the ad revenue stuff, they saw a sharp decline in their ad-based payments. And I don't know if that's Google being Google evil or if it was just a strange coincidence, but I thought that interesting, which is, once again, why I didn't necessarily put it in the show notes, because I don't know how credible that is, but I mean, they are being, checked on by EU, so.
Yeah, I mean, APIs and things change on a whim, and it could just be some random glitch where something has been updated and it has affected.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
affected this.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah, in regards to the Snapchat thing, I mean, the official tweet says there are plans to make it available in the future. We'll give deets when that's close. Hope this helps. Smiley face. And now, because I mean, I know a lot of people have been just bombarding the Snapchat support account on Twitter, with Windows Phone questions. I mean, I've even seen users, they've set up Buffer to, tweet the same question like every couple of days, and then it could have just been them saying, oh yeah, there's plans to make it available in the future, but the future could be 5 years from now.
And the future is also never.
Yeah, the future could never come in regards to that. So
the only reason I would lean more towards, once again, being optimistic, is because I once again feel that the Surface is going to save Windows Phone via universal apps, because the Surface has been so well received and so popular, and the new Surface model is so much cheaper and more affordable for somebody like me. I feel like you're going to start seeing a lot more universal apps because they want to put it on the Surface and maybe, let's say, the Xbox, and let's say, hey, I'm doing it on those two, might as well do it on the phone.
Right.
I feel like that only makes sense, especially if you only have to change a few lines of codes, and it only takes you like at minimum or more at maximum like an hour or two to do this, which is, in coding, from what I understand, is pretty incredible. So just feel like they're taking that route, and we won't see one, let's say in 4 months, but maybe closer to 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just real quick before we move on to the next thing, I was listening to the most recent episode of Surface Geeks podcast, and they had on the developer from Shifty Jelly, who's been working on the Pocket Casts app, and that app is not a port; it is a complete, from the ground up, complete new build. So there has been no porting of Android or iOS into the Windows Phone Pocket Cast app.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, even though it is $4, I'm very proud of them taking that step to Windows Phone, because I'm going to be honest, if your app is good enough, I will pay for it. I will support you as a developer. I feel very strongly about that. And
I think most Windows Phone users are of that same mindset, that if you do a good enough job, we are willing to pay, $1 to $4 to $5,
Yeah, I mean,
for a good
$5 is
quality app.
kind of I guess that cutoff mark to where you kind of like, well, how much am I going to use this app? And if you're going to use it a lot, like I did with the Weave newsreader back a
Yes.
few years ago. I mean, when it launched, it was $10. I bought it, because I once again I supported that developer and I felt very strongly about their product. So
All right. I mean, devs spend a
heck yeah.
lot of time troubleshooting and developing and creating and fixing bugs and having to listen to everybody complain and moan and groan about this and that. It's not an easy line of work. I can only imagine. I mean, I'm not a developer myself, but I can only imagine what some of the stuff that they have to hear, and just looking through the comments, it's like, oh my
That's the
gosh.
part that like it kind of upsets me. And this is doesn't just happen in apps and stuff. This happens in games all the time. You get the angry gamer or customer that just does not understand coding, that does not understand it is a very difficult thing to do. That's why we don't have everyone and their brother coding, because it's hard. You fix one thing, another thing breaks. It's not. I mean, I think that message just needs to be conveyed better by people like us who maybe understand that, not just by the developer, because I guess the customer might view that as, oh, well, they're just saying that.
Yeah, I mean, developing these top-notch, high-end apps that everybody loves, and it's a lot of work, a lot of time and dedication goes into this. So just treat your developers good. If you like them, treat them good.
Exactly.
All right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit of automotive tech. Now, you being a car guy yourself, I
This
thought
is
this story,
exciting.
this story might interest you. Now, Chevrolet has unveiled the 2016 Chevy Camaro, and The Verge was apparently at this event over. I guess it was over the weekend or something. It was May 16th when they posted this, so it was up at Detroit's Belle Isle Park when Chevy finally pulled the wraps off the next gen Camaro. And looking at some of these photos, oh my gosh. Wow, that's all I can say. There will be 6 engine transmission combinations offered,
Oh, wow.
ranging from 455 horsepower 6.2 liter V8 all the way down to a little 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder.
So they're finally going back to a 4-cylinder in a Camaro. That is interesting.
Yeah, with either a manual or automatic. An equally big story might be the new interior, which, unlike the exterior, the cockpit looks all new, featuring something Chevrolet is calling interior spectrum lighting, which shines a light pipe in any of 24 selectable colors across the dashboard. And there's even a quote unquote show mode that will randomly cycle through all the colors just for effect.
Huh. That is that. So for those of you who like to argue the American muscles, Camaro is my favorite because it's always been better. Drop mic. No, I really like the actually I really do like the new Mustangs. They're very small, compact, and they are probably some of the nicest Mustangs Ford's ever put out. And same goes for the new Challengers. But I really like this new styling they have for the Camaro. This is really nice. This piques my interest quite a bit.
Yeah, it is a beautiful looking ride.
Well, and let's be honest, these aren't the same V6s that they used to put in the 90s, that were just junk and not really that great. Like, these are high output V6s, quad cams, high compression. I mean, these are, performance machines even with a V6.
Oh yeah,
And, as they should be.
Yeah, the V6 of today can compete with the V8
of yesteryear,
of like my teenage years.
Yeah, and we're not talking about your built V8 that you and your dad built in your garage. That's a whole nother story. We're just talking about stock, straight from factory kind of thing.
Think Mustang 5.0, the little LX or the GT. Oh.
Man, this looks strange, like vaguely like Bumblebee from the newest Transformers in a way, like just the headlights mostly, I think. But it looks good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, they've definitely refined. You know, I mean the Camaro that that they used on in that time frame, of the Transformers and Bumblebee and stuff like that was nice looking, but this new refinement looks even better.
Yeah, it really does. Looks very fresh, very new. I'm liking it. What do you think?
Yes, I wouldn't mind having one in my garage. I'll say that.
Yeah,
So, I mean, as of right now, there's like no pricing or release information, at least
well,
according to this article.
I'm sure it'll follow about the same price of what they have now. To be honest,
Yeah.
um, I know some of the SSs they're like, approach the 40K mark. Your V6 will be mid 20s to upper 20s. And then with that 2 liter, I mean, they might be very close to low 20s, maybe even teens. I don't know,
Yeah, that
but
might be pushing it, but you never know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they might price this really competitively, and that's another thing. The little inline 4 cylinder that's going to be turbocharged. That's very interesting because um, most cars that have an inline 4 that's turbo actually get up and go a little bit.
mhm.
That's once again, it's a modern inline 4, not the old, sluggish ones from back in the day. So
Yeah, that you go to slam on the gas, and all of a sudden it just like bogs down because it's trying to figure out what gear it
bust your
should
feet
hit to
through
take
this
off.
through
Yeah,
the floorboard and do a little Flintstones.
yeah, exactly. Move quicker. Oh man. All right, so let's talk about some of this self-healing concrete thing that you posted
Yeah,
here.
this really caught my interest because I just never thought something like this would happen in my lifetime once again. But basically, this self-healing concrete is exactly what it explains. It's it's bio. It's has this bio life form with it. It's where is it? It's a bacteria that when, let's say, this concrete breaks open, the bacteria will work. I guess because the air opens it up and activates it, it'll work and start creating a byproduct of limestone, which therefore will fuse together the concrete again. I mean, if they were to use this on like sidewalks or buildings, that could really change things because that stuff cracks and breaks all the time. Especially sidewalks. But yeah, the self-healing agent that's a half bio product and half construction product. It's incredible. What do you think of this, Kevin?
This is pretty interesting stuff. Like you said, I mean, we've all been around, driveways and sidewalks and things like that with all these little cracks, and you wonder, well, how is it that, I mean, we know that the ground settles, and, a lot of construction workers, when they're laying new concrete and stuff like that, they don't properly prepare the area for, laying the actual concrete, putting it down.
Right.
So, I mean, if this could actually work, I mean, what is that? Bacillu? What was that? Bacillus?
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to have Bing or Cortana help me pronounce out what that word was.
Right.
It's capable of surviving the harsh conditions inside concrete and remaining idle until activated. So
Yeah, it's kind of like your driveway could be alive, so to speak,
yeah,
but just dormant until activated, which is very interesting to think about. But yeah, it like it says in the thing, it combines nature with construction materials. It's a natural process that these, which is also cool in the same aspect, but it natural process that works when activated. It's really cool stuff.
yeah. Kind of reminds me of that that technology that LG uses on the back of like the G Flex, where you kind of scratch it and it kind of self heals
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get rid of the scratch.
there's a lot of things that are starting to come out like that. Like there are some car paints that if you get a chip or a scratch, it'll self heal it. Which that's more high end paint. You're going to pay a lot right now, but I mean, in the future, that that might be the norm. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's another one of those interesting stories that you just don't think about. But
Yeah, I don't think about or don't believe that's true because it's just really weird to think about. I'm self-healing concrete. I can't.
yeah, with some kind of bacteria, it's like, yeah, okay, but
How can a rock heal itself? Come on.
yeah, but this stuff's been in the works for like 9 years, so since
Yes,
2006,
which is really interesting to think about because I've honestly never heard of this.
right? Evan says, "Would you have to apologize to the driveway for driving on it every morning?" I don't know. You might have to. You know, if you talk to it and be nice and play music like some gardeners,
Yeah, there you go.
botanists do.
Play music in your driveway will love you.
Yeah, little heal faster.
Little serenade.
Yeah. All right. So this next thing that I kind of want to talk about, goes back to airline safety and security. It was something that I seen over the weekend, and I was really looking into the story more today. And the headline of it from Wired.com is Feds say that a banned researcher commandeered an airplane. Now, I don't know if this is like, really, there's a lot of, he said, she said kind of stuff going on here. But, the story starts off, a security researcher kicked off a United Airlines flight last month after tweeting about security vulnerabilities in its system, reportedly had previously taken control of an airplane and caused it to briefly fly sideways, according to an application for a search warrant filed by an FBI agent. So Chris Roberts, who is the person, kind of in question here, who is a security researcher with One World Labs, told the FBI agent during an interview in February that he had hacked the in-flight entertainment system, or IFE, on an airplane and overwrote code on the plane's thrust management computer while he was aboard the flight. He was able to issue a climb command and make the plane briefly change course, the document states. Now further down in this story, he says that, a lot of the things that he felt were being talked about, behind closed doors between him and the feds, I guess, is now being reported, his words are kind of getting twisted, and to where like he really didn't do as much as, he said. But apparently, I don't, the times that I've actually flown this year, and, it really had been a while since I'd flown before this year. But, now every flight I get on, it's got these little screens in the headrest of the seat in front of you. I never thought, kind of look underneath the seat for these panels, and, because the guy supposedly used a Cat6 Ethernet cable with a modified connector plugged into the box, which is the seat electronic box, or SEB. And, he connected it to that, connected it to his laptop, then used default IDs and passwords to gain access to the in-flight entertainment system. Once on that network, he was able to gain access to the other systems on the planes. Now, he said he just kind of like monitored, data traffic that was kind of like going through the system and did not really alter anything. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's possible. I mean, just recently there was hacking on Friday. If you guys had any problem with PlayStation Network or Xbox Live, the Lizard Squad came back and
geez, here we go.
yeah, did a little more hacking and frustrations, but I guess they forgot that everybody's usually out on Fridays. So, oops.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna do that, you got to hit it up on a.
And I kind of feel like they're kind of taunting Microsoft and PlayStation, like, oh, guess what? You didn't get us, but I just don't think this is a good idea. I mean, in the aspect of hacking anything nowadays, it's so easy to track, and you're gonna get caught. So you might want to think twice before doing it.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, why trying to ruin people's fun?
Oh, they do it for the lulz.
Do it for the lulz. Love it. That's funny. All right. So moving on, if you are a Apple and a Mac user, you might be interested to know that there is the possibility that the new 15-inch MacBook Pro with Force Touch trackpad and 27-inch non-Retina iMac may be available this week. And that would kind of be some big news. And what else is big news this week? Google I/O, that the Google Android Developer Conference is going to be happening later this week.
Oh,
in
I
San
see why
Francisco.
Apple would wait to launch this during this week.
Yeah, why not try to steal a little bit of thunder? So
Yeah.
So it's going to be a somewhat big week for Google and Android. We'll probably learn the official name of whatever Android M will be. So last version's Android L Lollipop. I'm kind of curious what the new name will be.
Eminem.
Eminem. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking Marshmallow still makes sense to me.
Marshmallow.
Just my guess. So I have no inside information on that. It's just a random guess based on what I think, because they always like to do the little Android statues out in front of the Google buildings.
So, that's true.
So I think a Marshmallow would be one of the easiest ones to make. And I don't think they're going to partner up with another candy company to do M&M. I just
You don't think that they'll ever do that again?
Well, not that they would never do it again.
Okay.
For some reason, I'm just not seeing them do it.
I see. Yeah.
But it would make sense. I mean, if you've seen M&M commercials in the last 15, 20 years, it seems like.
Evan says Mars bar.
Mars bars. It's been so long since I've had those. My mom always used to love those.
Yeah, I don't even remember what they taste like.
They were really good. They were kind of like a Snickers bar with almonds in a way, but a little bit different.
Musketeers.
Oh yeah, Three Musketeers is good too. This is another one she liked.
Milky Way.
Ah, yes, Milky Way.
Boom.
Good.
That's what it is. You heard it here.
Heard it there first. Brad Whiteside going out on a huge limb here. All right, so I guess we'll follow up here with some gaming news. Let's go ahead and finish this up, Brad.
Yeah, so there's actually a few things gaming-wise we're going to talk about. Hope you guys don't mind. So I don't know if you ever played Doom, maybe in your younger years.
I played the original Doom, and then I played Doom 3 on PC.
So it is coming back with a vengeance. They teased the trailer this morning, which I didn't get a chance to, check out. But if you're interested in Doom at all, maybe you should. Bethesda, which also makes amazing games like Fallout 3 and Skyrim, just to name a few, and Dishonored. I mean, the list goes on. They just make some incredible games. They are going to reveal more of Doom at E3. I mean, E3 is already shaping up to be amazing. So this just kind of adds fuel to the fire for an amazing E3 conference. I'm very excited for this year. But yeah, just kind of a little tidbit. New Doom teaser trailer out. Go check it out.
Okay, nice. And what's the status of that Destiny update?
Yeah, so Destiny's new House of Wolves launches tomorrow, and that would be 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. If you're Central like us, it's, you do the math, it's noon. That launches tomorrow around noon for us, and I will probably be downloading that right before I head to work so I can get home and dive headfirst into that. Yes, people still play Destiny, if you were wondering.
Destiny came out, October or November of last year?
September 9th.
September. Okay.
Yes.
So 9/9.
Yep, September 9th. I mean, it's one of those games where you don't have to keep playing it every week, every day. It's maybe we could go back once a week or once a month and do a few things. And, it's one of those games where you can just hop on and do whatever it is you set out to do, and then jump off and clean the house or go to work or whatever. You don't have to sit there and play hours and hours like I have.
Right.
But also tomorrow launches The Witcher 3, and if you have heard any reviews about it, it has been like some of the highest rated material that's come out this year by far. And in fact, GameSpot gave it a 10 out of a 10 scale, and they've only have a handful of games they've ever done that to. So that's very interesting. IGN gave it a 9.3, and on IGN, anything over 9 is just a fantastic game. Go pick it up now. Take my money kind of thing. So
they've always been pretty strict on their.
they are. There are times that they want to put out a 10, and the editor is just like, no, we can't put out a 10 for this game because of this reason. I feel like IGN is one of the best sites to go check out games, and that's just my personal opinion. You might like something more, but I've gotten to kind of know, not personally, but gotten to know the people that work there a little bit, and I really enjoy them. So I go there first for my news. But Witcher 3 out tomorrow on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So go check it out.
All right. Did you ever have a Sega Dreamcast?
No, I did not.
Darn. No, I was just, thinking about, a game I used to play quite often. It was one of the more first online games that I really played. It was called Phantasy Star Online.
Interesting. I've heard of that, actually.
It was so fun.
Actually, that has been compared to Destiny at some point, I think.
Yeah, because, you can kind of just meet up with a group of people and you can kind of go on these, not necessarily raids, but just team up and just go do these missions and stuff. It was just, it was so fun.
Yeah, little known fact, this year, actually next month during E3, will be the 20th anniversary of Sega Saturn.
Oh my god.
Boy, are we old.
Yeah. I remember when that came out, going to Best Buy, and that was back when Best Buy used to put up these like really tall gaming setup displays in their gaming department.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was just, that was such a great time of gaming. You had the PlayStation, the Sega Saturn, and
the Nintendo.
It was winding down with the Nintendo 64.
And 64 getting ready to launch. Also, 20 years ago in E3, next month will be the 20th anniversary of E3, so it's almost of drinking age.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's hard to believe that E3 has been around that long.
Well, and just think of how much the media has changed since then. Like, the only way to get E3 coverage was through a magazine 20 years ago, pretty much. The internet was there, but nobody really wrote about it and posted it on the internet.
Yeah. Now you can experience it live without really being there. So much live streaming and everything.
Yep. Xbox, there's an app on there for streaming all the Microsoft keynotes. So it'll be on. I'll be watching that Monday, so we might have to move the show up a little bit.
Are you I think next Monday being Memorial Day, we probably won't have an episode. So.
Oh, I did not even think about that.
Yeah, so just go ahead and keep that in mind, folks, that probably next week we'll only have 2 episodes.
Yeah, you'll all be busy grilling burgers and hot dogs and enjoying some weather, hopefully. So
yeah, hopefully it'll be nice.
Yeah. The last I have a little app pick only because I just used it this weekend, and in fact my fiance used it this weekend to switch an iPhone customer of all things to a dinky little 635.
Wow.
Not sure why. That even me liking Microsoft as much as I do, I don't get that move. Maybe because it was a cheaper monthly bill.
Culture shock there.
Yeah, very much so. But it's called Transfer My Data, and it works for every platform, as far as I know. It works via Bluetooth. You hook it up Bluetooth. You download the app on the Windows phone. You launch it. It pulls over the data from the other phone, and there you have it. You have all your contacts from the other phone. So nice, quick way to grab some contacts if you really desperately need them because you're, a business customer, so to speak. So definitely check that out if you're switching from any of the platforms to Windows Phone. It is free.
All right. Actually, it's Windows Mobile now. You got to start getting in better practice.
Oh, that's true. Windows Mobile. Windows 10 Mobile.
Yes, which actually right now I am putting together a straw poll because we're going to kind of start doing that a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and just tweet that out.
I was going to say, you're going to tweet that? All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm going to tweet it, and then I'll put the link in the show notes. We'll run it for how many days will I do this? See, my choices are 1 hour, 5 hours, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. Guess I should go for 1 week.
Yeah, 1 week. I think one weekly poll is sufficient.
Yeah. So this poll will be, do you like the name switch from Windows Phone to Windows Mobile? Just a simple little question to kind of kick this thing off.
Simple yes or no, or
Yep, simple yes or no. Yes, I do. No, I don't.
no divided lines. Excellent.
Nope. All right, done. Tweeting out. There it goes, folks. It's out there. So I will put the link in the show notes as well. And I'm sure Matt Seebeck, who does the Cast app for iOS, will be like, seriously, straw poll? Like, well, put your app on Android and Windows Phone and I'll be able to use it more. Right now, I'm just limited to iOS users.
Yeah.
It's got to be on more platforms. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the app and entertainment picks. And since you pretty much loaded it up here,
I was going to say
I
kind of already went through that. Sorry.
Yeah. So go ahead and we'll get started.
Do you have anything? Because I kind of already went through all mine.
Oh, so you did already go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you did. Actually,
well, other than the Lumia software recovery tool as well, that really works well. If you have problems on the Windows Tech Preview, use the Lumia recovery software tool because more than likely you have a Lumia, and for whatever reason it works better. So use that one. Otherwise, if you have another specific Windows phone, use the Windows Phone recovery tool.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess one thing that I'm kind of curious about is if people have had a chance to see the Supergirl trailer for the upcoming CBS show that they're going to release this fall.
Oh, I have not.
No. It's actually kind of interesting. I mean, obviously it's, a superhero show intended, I guess, primarily for a female audience. So I'm curious what everybody's thoughts are of it. It seems very kind of like walking a fine line where, was it Kara L? She's Supergirl. She knows that she has kind of these special powers, and she works again, kind of with like an ad agency stuff. And Callista Flockhart, who played Ally McBeal, is like her boss. She runs into Jimmy Olsen, and he quickly corrects her that no, my name's either Jim or James. I can't remember how he corrected her, but and then he gives her this, this cape or something from. Actually, it's not a cape; it's the blanket that Kal-El, aka Superman, came to Earth. He was wrapped in when he came to Earth from Krypton, not kryptonite. Goodness. So it was interesting. If you haven't had a chance, check it out and let us know what you think of it.
Yeah, depending on how they do this could turn out, relatively okay, but it could also crash and burn pretty fast.
Yeah.
I feel like if they cater too far, just doing the normal American thing and making it too, I guess, feminine, it's not going to catch on for the guys, but I feel like they could also do the opposite. They could do like what Aliens has always done, or what Metroid has always done, and put a strong female lead, in that cast, and it could be some people's, favorites. So,
right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it's received. So, I think overall, right now, it looks like it's going to be something. I'll at least catch the first episode or two, just to see how it'll be. Obviously, being on CBS, it cannot be something as dark as like Daredevil per se on Netflix is.
So just a little quick update on the poll. We have 5 votes already, and 80% are okay with Windows Mobile.
All right. Nice.
So get in there and vote and check it out.
Yes, get in there and vote. So that pretty much does it. Unless you've got anything else you would like to throw in there, I'll go ahead and wrap this show up.
Nope, I think we're good.
All right. So again, everybody, thank you for joining us today, and thanks for watching or listening live. Thanks, Evan and Daryl and Jackson was actually in there for a little while. I don't think he said anything, but I know I saw his name in there. So thank everybody for checking us out live, and thank you everyone who listens and or watches after the fact. If you have anything you would like us to talk about on a future episode, again, let us know. Whether email, Twitter, Facebook, just wherever it is that you primarily follow us, or you just leave a comment in the comment section. We kind of check this from time to time as well. We leave the chat up. We don't clear the chat until prior to the next episode. So if you got anything you'd like to throw in there, go ahead and do that. That is at thetechinformist.com/live. So that pretty much does it. I'm Kevin Arbell. That's Brad Whiteside. We will see you on Wednesday. And until next time, consider yourself informed. We are out.
See ya.
Actually, one last thing. I almost forgot, but I did remember.
Uh-oh.
Happy birthday, JJ Hammond.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Yes. Almost forgot. I'm glad I didn't. Good. All right. Bye, guys.